Welcome to the 97 Republic YouTube channel, where I react to UFC news and live events. So I kindly ask that you hit the like button and the subscribe button, as that will really help this channel grow. And to ensure that you don't skip a beat, feel free to click the notification bell. That way you can guarantee that you don't miss any of the action. I really hope you enjoy this. Ranking the top 5 knockouts from fighters that are competing on the main card of UFC Fight Night, Edwards vs Brady. Now, if you're new to the series, what I do is I take every fight on the main card, I look at their best knockout win, and then I take each fighter's best knockout win and have them compete against one another to make this list of top 5 knockouts. So, without any further ado, at number 5, Carlos Ulberg versus Negumereanu, November 12th, 2022. Carlos Ulberg, in his third fight of the 7-fight winning streak he is currently on, fought Negumereanu, and in the first round, after absolutely blasting Nikolai's legs and compromising it, Nikolai knew that he had to resort to some desperate measures, knew that he had to knock out Carlos Ulberg due to the fact that this fight was not playing out in the way that he anticipated. So what Nikolai decided to do was lunge in and try and knock Carlos Ulberg out. We know now that lunging in against Carlos Ulberg might be one of the non-smartest things you could possibly do, due to the fact that the guy is incredible at counter-strike. And what Carlos ended up doing was throwing a left jab followed by a left check hook, knocked Nikolai down, and missed the follow-up shot. In all seriousness, somewhat thankful, because had that landed, that shot was coming from yesterday. Had that landed, Nikolai would have probably been eating out of a straw for 4 months. But then Carlos proceeded to then knock Nikolai out. And an insane knockout. The left jab, the left check hook, sending him to the canvas and ensuring that he is knocked out. Devastating knockout, because minutes removed, Nikolai was still on the ground. There's some power in Carlos Ulberg's fists, warranting him the number 5 spot on this list. At number 4, Jan Blachowicz versus Corey Anderson. Honorable mentions for Jan Blachowicz includes his knockout victory over Luke Rockhold, where Luke is in dire straits whenever his hair is standing up. When you see Luke Rockhold's hair standing up, his face has seen some shots. And then also his knockout victory over Dominic Reyes, where he sent Dominic to do the stanky leg and then proceeded to finish the fight. Both honorable mentions, but I do believe this is the best knockout. Jan Blachowicz versus Corey Anderson, the second time. Not the first time, because Jan got dominated. The second time, February 15th, 2020. In a fight that was considered a number 1 contender's bout to fight the light heavyweight champion at the time. And in the very first round, after ducking and slipping one of Corey's shots, Corey entering the void, Jan uncorked an overhand right, sending Corey to the canvas, followed it up with one hammer fist, and that was it. That was all she wrote. To put the sauce on the gravy, Jan Blachowicz then proceeded to walk towards the side of the octagon and stared down the GOAT, stared down John Jones, and ended up flexing on him, warranting Jan Blachowicz this number 4 spot. An insane knockout, the overhand right landing with legendary Polish power, and then the follow-up hammer fist. And I can remember in this, I think in the post-fight interview, Jan said something absurd, which obviously to him it was logical, but to any native English speaker it was odd. He said that he wanted to fist John Jones. Now we obviously know what he intended on saying, but a poor choice of words. But that gives Jan Blachowicz versus Corey Anderson the number 4 spot on this list. At number 3, Kevin Holland versus Joaquin Buckley. Kevin Holland, obviously being notorious for jumping weight classes, competing at both welterweight and at middleweight. On October 18, 2019, Kevin Holland lost to Brendan Allen. Then he made amends, getting a highly coveted victory over Anthony Hernandez. And to add to his list of impressive victories, on August 8, 2020, fought Joaquin Buckley. And in the very first minute of the final round, Kevin Holland threw a 1-2 with the one almost serving as a feint, and the two landing perfectly, sending Joaquin Buckley to the floor, a walk-off KO. Now if you watched that and you saw something, a projectile at the back of Joaquin Buckley's head, your eyes did not deceive you. He knocked out Joaquin Buckley's mouth guard with that straight right. And due to the fact that it is a single shot KO, it is a walk-off KO, we saw the mouth guard flying. Basically everything you could ask for in a knockout was this knockout. Therefore, Kevin Holland versus Joaquin Buckley is number 3 on this list. Then at number 2, Molly Meatball McCann versus Luana Carolina. Carolina, depends on where you're situated. Molly McCann went on a 3-fight winning streak. Ended up losing 2 consecutive fights after that 3-fight winning streak, then went on another 3-fight winning streak. And in the second fight of the second 3-fight winning streak, Molly McCann fought Luana Carolina. Ended up winning the first round, but then it felt like Luana was taking control of the fight, winning the second round, and at the time, she was winning the third round as well. But then Molly McCann ended up delivering one of the most devastating spinning back elbows you will ever see in this sport. It could not have landed any more flush than it did. And she saw it. As soon as she went into that space where it was almost a clinch, into that void, you could literally see in Molly's face and in her thoughts how this whole spinning back elbow came to her. And she did it, landed it flush, sent Luana to the canvas, knocked out as cold as you could probably get. It was devastating and it was beautiful, but obviously not the easiest thing to watch, especially with it being woman. Yeah, it is tough. It is tough. But Molly McCann's spinning back elbow knockout over Luana Carolina is honestly one of the most impressive knockouts I have ever seen in my life. Therefore, Molly deserves the number 2 spot on this list. Then at number 1, to the surprise of absolutely nobody, Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. Now if you saw this take place in a movie and everything surrounding it, you would think it's far-fetched. You would look at it in a movie and say, yeah, this stuff only happens in movies, due to the fact that how it happened, the whole build-up towards it, the fact that Leon lost to Kamaru, and the timing of the knockout, everything that happened in this knockout is insane. So Leon fought Kamaru Usman in his 4th fight inside of the UFC, ended up losing by unanimous decision, then went on a 9-fight unbeaten streak which spanned over more than 6 years, warranting him the number 1 contender spot to fight Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman was at the time undefeated within the UFC for a span of over 6 years as well. So a collision course that was bound to happen. The unstoppable force, the immovable object, in a fight where Leon got dominated basically for four rounds and almost all of the minutes. It took Leon's coach at the end of the 4th round to give one of the best and most inspiring speeches ever heard in UFC history to Leon Edwards, dragging him into the fire.
It's too fucking damn, you gotta pull the shit out of the fire. Sure. Come on, Leon, man, you got it, man.
To be able to, in the last minute of the last round, Leon ended up throwing a jab and a head kick simultaneously, where Kamaru Usman slipped the jab but felt the full force of the head kick, knocking Kamaru Usman out cold. And it was insane due to the fact that just prior to that knockout, Jan Blachowicz, who was commentating, said that they were basically speaking about how Leon is done and he is basically just, want this fight to be over. He will lose by unanimous decision, but he is somewhat over it. And then Jan Blachowicz proceeds to say, but that is not the cloth from which he is cut, and he didn't finish the sentence. And Leon knocked Kamaru out cold, giving him the welterweight championship belt of the UFC. It was cinematic, to say the least, and probably it's number one on this list, probably in the top 5 best knockouts ever within the UFC. If we look at circumstances, if we look at the timing, if we look at how he was dominated, if we look at the rematch, the build-up, this knockout is what should epitomize the UFC. The fact that anything could happen at any time, this was insane. That is my list of top 5 knockouts from fighters that are competing on the main card of UFC Fight Night, Edwards versus Brady. Let me know in the comment section whether there are any knockouts that I've missed. Do you think the order is correct? And if you had to change something, what would it be?